Long before memory learned how to keep itself alive, before names were carved into stone or spoken into legend, before the world decided what it wanted to be, there were giants. This was not a golden age. It was not peaceful, and it was not kind. It was raw, unfinished, and violent by nature. The sky hung lower then, heavy and restless. The sun rose slowly, dimmer than it would one day become, as if even it feared what walked upon the land. The giants were not born in the way living creatures are born. They emerged. Some rose from mountains when pressure and time could no longer hold them still. Others climbed from oceans when the depths grew too heavy with silence. Some tore themselves free from glaciers, while others stepped from fire, fully formed, burning and furious. They were not gods, but the world bent around them as if they were. They called themselves the first kin, and they ruled an age later beings would never truly understand. The giants were divided into clans, not by choice, but by nature. The Stone Wardens were the eldest. They lived among mountain spines and fault lines, their bodies cracked with age, veins glowing faintly with the pressure of the earth beneath them. They believed endurance was the highest form of strength. The Ashborn came from fire and fury. Volcanoes were their cradle, and destruction was their language. Their cities glowed red at night, and their tempers burned just as hot. The Frostbound were ancient beyond measure. They moved slowly, spoke rarely, and remembered things even the Stone Wardens had forgotten. Entire eras passed while a Frostbound giant considered a single decision. And the Earth Shapers, keepers of soil, forest, and river, were the closest thing the giants had to caretakers. They could raise continents gently, heal shattered land, and coax life from dead ground. For a time beyond counting, balance held. Disputes happened, battles happened, but never war, because every giant understood the truth carved into the bones of the world. If giants fought without restraint, the world itself would die. The war began anyway. It began with absence. A Stone Warden citadel, older than mountains themselves, vanished. No rubble, no fire, no frozen ruin. Only a perfect hollow carved deep into the land, smooth and wrong, as if something had reached down and scooped reality away. The clans gathered in fury and fear. The Stone Wardens accused the Ashborn. Fire leaves no remains, they argued. The Ashborn roared their denial, flames splitting the sky as they swore innocence. The Frostbound watched, silent, sensing something deeper than blame. The Earth Shapers felt the ground tremble beneath their feet, not from movement, but from pain. Words failed. Pride took their place. The Frostbound marched. When they moved, the world slowed to endure them. Glaciers advanced like armies. Snow fell where deserts had burned for ages. Seas froze from the shoreline outward, trapping storms, beneath sheets of ice. Ashborn strongholds cracked and died. Fire hissed and went dark beneath impossible cold. The Ashborn answered with rage. Volcanoes erupted as weapons. Rivers of magma tore through ice fields, boiling oceans into choking fog. The sky shattered into endless storms. The first true battle lasted 3 days. By the end, 2 mountain ranges no longer existed. The Earth Shapers intervened, desperate. They raised forests into walls. They split plains into trenches meant to slow the march of titans. They begged the clans to stop.
We beg you, stop this conflict. The earth is breaking beneath our feet.
Soon, every clan armed itself. Weapons were not made, they were taken. Mountains became hammers. Lightning was chained and wielded like whips. Entire rivers were lifted and hurled. Fault lines were torn open and used as blades. The land screamed. The sky darkened permanently, choked with ash and cloud. The sun dimmed behind layers of smoke. The seas withdrew, ashamed to witness what walked their shores. Smaller creatures, beasts, crawling things, early ancestors of men, fled underground. They survived by hiding, by listening, by learning fear before language. Years lost meaning. The war did not pause, it only shifted. Then something changed. From the deepest wounds of the world, from pressure too great and pain too constant, something rose. They called him Karun. No clan claimed him, no territory birthed him. Some said the world itself had given him form. Others whispered that he was born from every death the war had caused. Karun carried no weapon. He was the weapon. Where he walked, continents cracked. Where he struck, mountains folded inward like paper. Giants fell screaming before him. Stone wardens shattered, ashborn extinguished mid-flame. Frostbound split apart in clouds of frozen mist. For the first time, the giants knew terror. They united against Karun, not out of loyalty, but survival. Still, they barely slowed him. The final battle came at the center of the world, where the crust was thinnest and the fire beneath burned closest to the surface. Hundreds of giants gathered. The sky burned red. The ground fractured like glass beneath their feet. They buried Karun beneath oceans and continents. They chained him with fault lines and pressure. They drove him down into the heart of the world itself. And when Karun fell, the world broke. Seas rushed inland, mountains collapsed, fire and water consumed entire regions. Most giants died that day. Some were crushed beneath the land they once ruled. Some were turned to stone by the world's final defense. Others were sealed away. Beneath oceans, beneath mountains, beneath memory. A few survived. They fled into darkness deeper than light could reach, into trenches and caverns where even stories refused to follow. When the dust settled, silence returned. The sky lifted higher. The land healed, slowly, painfully. The world grew quieter. New beings emerged. They walked across ancient battlefields without knowing it. They climbed mountains that were once giants frozen mid-fall. They built cities atop bones mistaken for hills. They told stories. And in those stories, giants became myths. But sometimes, when the ground trembles without warning, when mountains crack in the night, when thunder sounds too much like breathing, it is said the giants remember. And far beneath the world, something still stirs. Because wars of giants never truly end. They only sleep.